Hello everybody, I'm Projeni, the Managing Director and founder of MamaMagic, the Baby Expo. I'm so thrilled today to have with me Adele Hartdegen, who's the CEO of the Johannesburg Expo Center and of the RAN Show. And we're both so thrilled to be here today to tell you all about this collaboration between MamaMagic and the RAN Show. So welcome, Adele.
Thank you so much for having me, Projeni.
And so why don't you tell everybody? I know our visitors and exhibitors are so keen to understand more about the collaboration and to get to meet you. We've been talking a lot about you. So tell them a little bit about yourself so they too can get to know you as well as they've known me for the past couple of years.
Great. So maybe the easiest to explain is how this journey started on my side in terms of joining the RAN Show. So I've been with a company called GL Events for the last 10 years. They are a global player in the events industry. So GL Events is present in 23 countries with about 93 branches worldwide, of which 60 are venues. So originally I joined the company as a head of marketing. So I've always been a person that's passionate about branding and marketing in the event space. And I then did the feasibility study with our managing director at that point for the acquisition of the Johannesburg Expo Center. And with that came the acquisition of the RAN Show as well. So GL as an international group, they are headquartered in France. They run about 240 exhibitions of their own. And they identified RAN Show as a legacy brand within South Africa and Africa as such that they really wanted to add to their portfolio. So after studying the venue and the RAN Show as a brand for about a year, we finished our feasibility, finished the whole acquisition process, and I was then granted the opportunity to step in and lead these two brands. It's been an amazing journey. Both of the brands are, as I said, legacy brands within the South African space. So it was initially a very daunting challenge, but I've got such a passion for brands that have been around for many years. And if you look at RAN Show, we started in South Africa right along the time where brands like Castle Lager were launched.
Wow.
So we've been around for a very long time. From the research that I've done, we are the oldest consumer exhibition in Africa, and we're still going strong. So that's been my journey in a nutshell.
Brilliant. Now, we're really excited at MamaMagic to have the opportunity to align ourselves with such an esteemed brand, a show that's been around for a long time, that's been a household name in the city of Johannesburg and throughout the country as well. And the two brands, MamaMagic and RAN Show, are destination brands. As many of you know, we at MamaMagic took a break this year to realign our strategy and our comms, and there's been a great demand and a great need from our mom market wanting to have the show back. And we're delighted to be at the RAN Show. Now, for those of you that don't know, Adele's also a firm follower of MamaMagic for many reasons. And Adele, you can share your journey there.
So I remember the first time I actually visited MamaMagic is when I graciously got an invite from you. And at that point, I was 7 months pregnant and about to have my first RAN Show. So it was a double whammy for me. And visiting the show, I first visited MamaMagic, and then shortly after we went into RAN Show. And being an expectant mom and seeing everything that MamaMagic had to offer, and then going through RAN Show, I thought I need to speak to Projeni and see if there's any way that we can get these brands to work together, because we've got such an amazing visitor base in RAN Show, and if you look at the people that come through and that actually buy the tickets, most of them are mommies. And you can walk around in the RAN Show and see a sea of prams. It's really a family-based event, and people bring their little ones. So I think I had a bit of envy looking at what's available at MamaMagic and what we had to offer on the floor for RAN Show. And I thought, wouldn't it be a great combination to put these two together and give your visitors some of our excitement and offer our visitors some of the educational portfolios that you guys share and the exhibitors that you bring that really focus on the mom and baby space. So yeah, it was just a well-timed exercise.
A well-timed exercise. And I think the delightful part is that our market, the mom market, we focus on pregnancy up to the ages of 5 years old. And that's when there's a bit of an overlap there when Rancho starts to take over from that point. And so all our mum audience will become firm followers of the Rancho as well, because families, it's a lifestyle exhibition full of entertainment, full of information and advice for families to get going and find their foundation with lots of service providers and lots of experts and lots of products and services that all families need. So it's a great start for our audience to get insight into what that is, and they too will become regular visitors. And we hope that that funnel will continue over the years. So it's a great collaboration. We know that now, and we're excited because Adele knows our brand. As a mummy herself, who's still in the thick of things, with her 2-year-old, pretending he's 12 already, I think, right?
Absolutely.
So the other thing that, we've spoken to a lot of our exhibitors and lots of our visitors who also wanted to understand, who may have not been to the Rancho for a very long time. And I know that not everybody has the chance to visit. We're also busy with business and life. But we haven't had a chance, and we wanted to give you more insight into what the Rancho has been up to, what's changed, because I know that some people, the older you get more stuck in your ways, you get stuck in your little corner off the country and may not have had young ones around you anymore to take you and beg and plead to get to the Rancho. So Adele's made some amazing changes and has introduced some great facilities and great options. And we wanted to go through that. So Adele, tell us how the Rancho has what's the evolution been like? I mean, I know the days when I first came out to Johannesburg and I went there, and there's just so much changes in the venue as well, and we'll get into that. But the Rancho itself, what's different to it now versus previously?
So I think a lot in the show has changed just based on how consumer spending patterns have changed and the way in which people are consuming consumer goods these days. So in I'm going to call it the heydays of the Rancho, you didn't really have large shopping complexes or large retail parks, and you definitely didn't have Take-A-Lot and Black Friday.
Yes.
So when I took on the brand in 2020, that was during the pandemic period, and initially I perceived it as a negative, this pandemic situation in which we found ourselves. But I gave myself and the team about a year to really sit back and do a critical analysis of the show, looking at where are we going right, where are we going wrong, how's the brand positioned. And obviously we did all of this with a great deal of support from the head office. So putting in better procedures and processes to make sure the show flows nicely, the visitors are comfortable, the exhibitors have got an easy onboarding process, the basics of our, how our industry operates. Mm-hmm. So what we also had a look at with the show is for a long time period, the show had a challenge with what I'm going to call ticketing within ticketing. So you would pay a ticket at the gate, and once you are in, we would have various activations set up where people, if they wanted to visit that activation, would have to then also pay an additional ticket fee.
Oh, okay.
So that's something that we changed from the very first edition, which was in 2021. So we launched right after some of the lockdown restrictions was lifted, and we still joke about it. We had visitors that actually got vaccinated at the gate by Department of Health in order to get into the show. So
wow.
There are a lot of people who really love Rancho and who follow it diligently, and I suppose they were the ones who got vaccinated to get in. So basically in that first year, we started focusing on securing major brands for the show. And with that, obviously boosting the economic model for us so that we didn't have to do the ticketing within ticketing. Mm-hmm. So when you go to the show these days, 90% of the activations are for free. So once you've paid your ticket through the gate, You have got ample opportunity for your kids to go and experience our activation areas that's designed for the little ones. There's some for the youth. And the only area that's still ticketed is the theme park, simply because of the operational expense to put it up and running. It's a massive, we roll out an 11,000 square meter theme park, so it's about the size of a rugby field. And obviously that's got a certain implication. But the rest of the activations and the entertainment, we bring through prominent artists every year. Some years we go into the more commercial space and we'll bring on board brands like SpongeBob and Dora the Explorer we've had at the show. So we always create some form of excitement, and we make sure that that's free for all of our visitors to access. And then we also redesigned the show a bit in terms of the shopping experience. So traditionally, the main shopping hall did not have, in my opinion, in any case, sufficient well-known brands, well-known corporate brands. So across the last couple of editions, that's really been a focus for us to secure key financial institution brands, mobile providers, the guys that do prominent furnitures, betting agencies, casinos, hotel groups. So we've done quite well in filling the main shopping hall with that. And it's still a shopping hall, but it's also an experience zone, because that's something that we do, I'm not going to say demand, but kindly request from our big corporates, is that if they are doing something in the hall and they're taking up a big space, they have to make it interesting. They have to activate for the visitors. And then we also had a bit of a change in terms of our SMME strategy. So there was a time where people would often refer to the Rancho as a flea market.
That's true.
Which at one point we actually did have a flea market in the show that was in a marquee outside. So it was meant to be a flea market.
Okay, yes.
But that sort of stuck around, and we have respun that concept to create a small and medium enterprise zone. So events such as the Rancho is a massive economic driver. And in the exhibition space, you'll know well, some of your guys really want to be there, but they simply cannot afford it. And from my perspective, all of us as big businesses, we should be actively contributing to the development of small businesses. So we set up that zone, gave a bit of discount to those exhibitors so that they could onboard the show. And we've had such amazing success stories with them and how their brands have grown from being at the Rancho to now having a presence in shopping centers, to introduce a lot of these people to our government officials that come to the show that help them with funding. And we also had a financial institution for the last 2 years give us a nice cash prize for the best SMME. And we do a conference for the SMMEs to train them a bit.
I think that's an amazing idea, and a wonderful way to give back and support those businesses, right? So it's probably really well received.
It's definitely been a wonderful journey for our smaller exhibitors. And you never know with these small companies, they might just meet the right person on the show or the right amount of visitors, and it quickly escalates their business to being outside of the SMME space. So we really, when we say as Rancho, we aim to give back to the community, it's not in the form of a CSR component, even though we have that within the show, but it's really focused on how do we educate little businesses or small businesses to get to the next level by utilizing the show as a launch platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, the one thing that we must also emphasize is that the show's not a free for all. So it is a ticketed event. It is a family event. And tickets are available through our service provider, which is TicketPro, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yes. So tickets will go on sale. People would have to formally purchase their tickets and decide the show's running over 5 days from the 17th to the 21st of April at the Johannesburg Expo Center. Tickets available at TicketPro as well. Now, over and above that, I think it's important for us to emphasize as well, besides the Rancho going through its own evolution, because of the changing needs of the market. And what I like hearing you say is that you've been listening to what the market needs, both what the visitors need and what our small businesses and large corporates require. And I've been fascinated to see the list of the big brands that you have onboarded is really, really impressive, which shows that they're coming back repeatedly, right? I mean, most of them have been with you year on year?
Since I'm going to say relaunched, yes, most of them have been with us year on year, and if they can, they normally even sign 3-year contracts to remain with the show.
Right. And that's a really positive sign for me. And another reason why MamaMagic is aligning with the Rand Show and co-locating at the venue, because you've got repeat clients that are obviously having their objectives met. They're getting their return on investment, because that's what you get with brands like the Rand Show and MamaMagic, because we're determined to make sure that every single client that we onboard gets their return on investment and has a good show and is able to further their businesses and take it to the next level. That's what we ultimately here for. We provide an engaging space, I think, with great entertainment, great value for our visitors. But behind that, we have to nurture the brands, both big and small, that are onboarded with us. Now, let's go into the venue, okay? Because that too has changed. I mean, I think it is the biggest venue on the continent, am I right?
Yes.
Right? So tell us more. And now Adele's not just the CEO of the Rand Show. She wears 2 hats. She's the CEO of the Johannesburg Expo Center as well. And we can see the success of her leadership when you walk through that venue. It's truly, truly remarkable.
Thank you so much, Projeni. I think when it comes to my venue hat, it's probably a hard hat because it's a big space to maintain. So Johannesburg Expo Center, as you rightly said, remains the biggest event venue in Africa. We have got more than 50,000 square meters under roof space, and then outdoor about 100,000 square meters of event terraces. So the reason why the Expo Center is the home to the Rand Show, firstly, is that it was actually purpose-built to host the Rand Show. So when Rand Show moved from the Witwatersrand location, they actually constructed Expo Center custom around what the requirements of the Rand Show was at that point. And in the first 2 years of operation, so the venue's 40 years old this year, and within those first 2 years of operation, we hosted Rand Show and we hosted electromining. So the venue across the last couple of years, again, with the international group coming in, we've started remodeling the venue in terms of operational efficiencies, in terms of our compliance that is required for the venue to be safe to operate, and also to look at what happens in the wider precinct around the venue. And if you look at how we run these large format events, what's critical for us is obviously that our visitors are comfortable and that they are safe. Mm-hmm. So the one thing I can always guarantee people is that there's no traffic on your way to Expo Center, even during the Rand Show. And it's not by chance. We make sure that our parking company is trained up and that they are ready and get to the site very early to direct traffic accordingly in the parking areas. And to make people feel a little bit more safe, we create dedicated spaces for high-risk vehicles. So we've got a high-value compound for the guys that drive the Fortuners and the other Toyotas. So to make sure that there's an additional level of security for them. Moms and toddlers, as well as the elderly, there's special parking for them to have quick access to the venue. So it's really important for us that there is a feel of it's safe, it's secure, it's a comfortable space. And if I can, let's say, do it a little bit tongue-in-cheek. So I don't think during the Easter weekend there is any place safer than the Johannesburg Expo Center. Because at any given time during the Rand Show, you will have in excess of 2,500 soldiers on the site, about 400 plus people from Johannesburg Metro Police Department, as well as the same complement from SAPS. So I would never ever recommend taking a chance during Rand Show because the entire force is there in full display. Absolutely. So we really don't have any challenges in that space.
That's amazing. I mean, besides the amazing level of security around the venue, not that it is necessary, because just even without that, you've created a safe space. At any point in time, at any given time. But what I like as well is that the venue is very accessible. And I'm sure you get people attending the venues for different, not just for Rand Show, but I mean, you have a multitude of varying events and people coming not just from all over the city, but all over the country, right?
Yeah, and even internationally. So our events are quite diverse in terms of visitor base, and we host a lot of events that have exceptionally high international protocol. As an example, last year we did the AGOA Trade Renewal Forum, which basically is American heads of state coming through for the visits, as well as most of the ministers from the African countries. So it really is a very secure space, and we've achieved that in the last couple of years by working closely with the community around us. So obviously we've got good inroads into the community, and if the venue is perceived as safe and we increase the visitor traffic, it pays back to the community in the form of the economic development. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people look at the location of the Johannesburg Expo Center and they feel a little bit uncomfortable maybe, but I think if you visit the space and you can, when you drive in there in the morning, it's a tranquil open space. Yeah. When we don't have events, even it's a lovely area to be in, and we really haven't had any specific challenges that I can report.
That's great. Now, during these massive events that you have, Rancho being one of them, and the venue hosts multitude, like we said, of other international exhibitions, international concerts that are coming up. And it is well received. The venue prepares accordingly because you have a list of service providers that understand the needs of the venue. We look at the needs of the audience and they will equip themselves appropriately. Now, let's go back to Rancho. I mean, I'm sure you've got, over 80,000 visitors in attendance. How do you manage that from a cleaning perspective, for example? I mean, how many staff do you need for that? It must be, I mean, you've got food being consumed, you've got people in general, attending, and people are generally, when they're busy enjoying themselves, they might be a little bit untidy. So how do you try and manage that so that everybody feels that they're in a clean, comfortable space?
So it's always the nicest feeling for me if I can go through the comments from a Rancho or from any other big event that we host, and you can see the visitors comment on, wow, guys, it's been such a wonderful experience because the place was clean, the bathrooms are clean, and it's a by design thing. So we've got our cleaning providers actually based on site.
Oh,
and
I see.
The key thing with the Johannesburg Expo Center is that you need to know and understand the venue very well because it's such a vast space. Yes. So this service provider has been with us for many, many years, and basically they are responsible to make sure that when you go into a bathroom at Rancho, you will always find a cleaner on standby permanently. So we do that throughout all of our bathrooms, and then the other cleaning teams are responsible for the outside cleanup, like the catering areas that you're mentioning. And it's very important that we keep the site clean during the event, but also when the gates are closed, we then make sure we get everything into the skips. So in the morning, and people can watch us because normally we go live on SABC from the Thursday when the show opens, right. And you cannot see a piece of paper floating around anywhere. So when everyone goes home and they've had their fun, we make sure that the finer details are touched up so that the next day the venue is fresh and clean. It's a very important focus space for us because it doesn't matter how nice the branding is or how beautiful we make the buildings. If there's litter all over or the bathrooms are not in a condition that people expect, like they're well stocked and the likes, then you're going to get some bad comments. So we avoid that at all costs.
Again, and again, what I love about it is understanding the visitor, ensuring, I mean, we've got mums and babes and, families coming and grands and granddads as well, and we want people to be comfortable. Because people are spending a long time at the venue and coming on multiple days, which is great as well. And then you were talking about food. I was so excited. I actually came to Comic-Con a few months ago now, and I intended to stay for a short while. But I got sidetracked by the food, to be honest, and I ended up staying a little bit longer and that's changed as well from my past experiences. So what are the updates there?
So the one great thing with the Expo Center and the capacity that we've got is that you don't have the issue like at other venues where you're going to stand in a queue for 2 hours just to order a burger.
And pay exorbitant fees.
Yeah, that makes it worse. So no, we've got various food kiosks within the venue that is stationary, and there you'll find popular brands like Spur or Nut. They are rolled out throughout the venue. And then there's also food trucks that we bring in. So the food trucks change per event based on the visitor that we're getting. And with Rancho, you'll find some of the more conventional foods, like there will be pancake stands. For the more trendy stuff, we bring in people like Rocco Mamas, and it's really spaced out nicely throughout the venue with seating areas at each point where you can purchase food. So we try and make sure that people can get their food as quickly as possible. And we also enter into discussions with our providers leading up to the event, so that we can have a look at the menu prices and then negotiate with them if there's any that we feel are exorbitant.
Right.
So obviously, if you're a Rocco Mamas fan, you're going to know that that's more expensive than Spur. So depending on the size of your family and depending on your preferences, there are more expensive food options. And then there are also more affordable food options down to your conventional Vos roll, if that's what you're into. So we really try and cater for everyone's, exactly because we know that it's very seldom that only 2 people come together for the Rancho. It's most likely a family of 4, more likely 6 people plus that come together. So food these days, it is very expensive, and we need to try and make sure that for the show, we keep the cost within reason.
And I was so excited to see on your list of exhibitors that are coming on board that you have some really exciting restaurants that are coming on board too.
Yeah.
So yes, can we say? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, we're not saying yet. But watch the space. We'll put them, all those brands on, and there's some really exciting developments there. So there's a lot of food vendors, there's a lot of choice, there's a lot of quality, and the Ranchos, obviously, I mean, you've got strict protocols to make sure that every food vendor that comes on board follows all the hygiene protocols and the food protocols, etc. Right? Yeah. But so then, I mean, where are these people going to sit and eat? I mean, how do you accommodate them from that perspective?
It's a tricky one because of the volume of people, and especially when we look at our Saturday, which is normally our busiest.
Yeah.
So on a Saturday, you can expect to see upwards of 28,000 people floating around the Rancho. Wow. Which when we as organizers look at it, it's an amazing experience. But basically what we do is within our Esplanade area, we will set up suitable beer benches and catering seating areas with umbrellas next to all of the catering huts.
Okay.
And then because of the layout of the venue, you'll see people almost having like their own little picnic parties every here and there. So the venue's got a lot of open
green spaces as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some families prefer to get their bite to eat, and then they bring a blanket with, we don't allow camping chairs just for security reasons, but they then sit there and they have their meal.
Wonderful.
And for the couples and the youngsters that don't yet have kids, we put up a main entertainment stage, and we dress that with some stretch tents, and that's more of a beer garden vibe area.
Okay.
So there's also catering available there, but we always look at the foot traffic that's heading our way, and then we try and plan as much seating as we can, because we know that obviously you don't want to buy something and then walk around and eat or stand and eat. So we try and provision for that, and also for some cover so that our people don't go home with a sunburn.
Yes. And I mean, what's nice is that it's such a big space. So you've got these in pods in various parts of the venue. There's always accessibility to food, to bathroom facilities. And I loved, you have to share, I know, people always struggling to find where to go to, but you've got a massive promo team to help people, right?
Yeah. So this started in our first year, we were running a show in the Four Ways Mall. Mm-hmm. And because the mall is such a vast space, we couldn't put up directional signage to direct people to the center court. So we employed some promo people who were literally singing and dancing throughout the mall with their Rancho branding, directing people to the center of the mall. Okay. Where I'm going to say, we called it the Rancho Spring Edition, but it was like a mini Rancho where that was being held. And then when we went into the main show the next year, we thought, well, this actually worked really well. And with the venue being the size it is, we then employed that same concept. So you'll find we do about 75 info personnel that float around the site. Some of them hand out flyers, some of them hand out shopper bags, some of them have got these twirly signboards that will direct you to different activations within the venue. And they also serve as I'm going to say, a safeguard mechanism. So when you're dealing with large crowds of people, especially families, there is a likelihood that a little one might get lost.
That's true.
So the info personnel also serve to keep an eye on that. And if they see any lost children, they will then take them to, we've got a police box set up on site throughout the show. And for the last couple of shows, every single day, if a little one has lost their way, we manage to get them back to their family. So they also serve that purpose.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I mean, you've thought of everything.
We
and
hope
more.
so.
But, I think as each year goes, and like we're saying, as the market changes and there's new needs and our audiences change, we're mindful, we're reading the remarks, we're reading the comments, and we appreciate constructive criticism because that's how we get to improve what we do. I mean, every business, if you don't take that constructive criticism and implement it in some way or form and build up to the full spectrum, then it's pointless asking for feedback, right? Now, so we spoke about, yes, the safety and security is great in terms of managing that, but what if there's an emergency in terms of a medical emergency, for example? Now, I'm bringing a lot of pregnant moms here. So we want an added level, it might be the first baby we deliver on site. You never know.
It's funny you mention that because we have had a couple of those instances happen at the rancho already.
So you're ready for it.
We have a couple of rancho babies running around. But basically what we do, we've got a standard on-site medical clinic.
Right.
And they have got medics rolled out all over the site. So as you walk the show, you'll see the medics. They're normally on their red quad bikes and they've got the stretchers on the back of them. And any medical emergency, it's fairly easy to find one of them or go to one of the info personnel who will also be able to escalate and give you immediate assistance. So we're very vigilant about that because we are dealing with big crowds of people. And the beauty of Expo Center, which a lot of people actually don't know about, is that obviously we've got helicopter landing sites. Oh. So should there be a real medical emergency, it's easy to get a helicopter in as well to airlift someone to the closest hospital or to the hospital that they need to go to. So now I'm not concerned about that at all.
We'll feel a lot better about that, and I'm sure all our mums will as well. That's a great relief. I think our mums and our little ones are our priority at MamaMagic. Not that we disregard the dads. What we're exceptionally excited about. I mean, dads always, they come and they're there to support you. But now knowing that there's some added facilities and features that our dads get to enjoy as well, whilst mom does her homework and tries to find all the products and services for her as well, is great. And also, I think the Rancho brings on another level of entertainment for MamaMagic as well. MamaMagic has always been about inspiration and education for us on our parenting journey. We've always had entertainment as a strong feature. And this year, we've had to send Barney back home as Barney's being relaunched and has going to have his own channel on YouTube. So the entire costume's been relaunched. So Barney, the new Barney costume is not with us as yet, and we will unveil details as and when we know it is available. And I'm sure everybody's excited about that. Nobody gets tired of him as much as they want the new stuff. But in the meantime, so Barney's not going to be at the Rancho, but Adele has lined up a whole lot of entertainment. So Hall 8 is where all the kids' entertainment takes place, right? And that's right next to Hall 7 where MamaMagic is going to be.
Yeah.
So what can we expect there?
There's some secrets to be kept there still.
But you have a track record, I know, on the kids' entertainment side, especially with the littlies, of always having great entertainment as well, right? So you want to share some of your past maybe and maybe a few hints of what we can expect.
So we can give away a little bit of what we're doing next year. Obviously, for people that don't know the venue, it was a strategic decision to place MamaMagic close to the kids' entertainment area. And the two halls actually flow into each other. So as you go through MamaMagic, immediately downstairs, you'll find the entertainment area. So next year, what we're planning to do is to go back to the format that we were most successful with in 2013. sorry, 2023, 2013 is
I
a
know.
long time ago. So what we do is we basically set up a massive entertainment stage for the kids. So they get their own entertainment stage. And next year we've selected 4 to 5 different stage productions. So these are more educational productions that are played around the core purpose of that area for next year, which is what I can't give away yet. And then right across from there, we create a treasure hunt area. So we will still confirm the format of this treasure hunt area, but basically the kids can either be at the stage while the programs are running. When the programs are not running, we normally have a DJ for the kids. And to replace or to just stand in for Barney, we've got these beautiful Rancho mascots, and they are purpose-built for the kids. We've got 6 of them.
Oh, nice.
5 of them actually represent the big 5, but not in the conventional way. We've got a shocking pink buffalo and a very green elephant. So the kids absolutely love interacting with them.
I'm sure.
And then, as I said, that will be across from the treasure hunt area. And then we also set up what we call a bounce zone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a bunch of trampolines, bigger ones for the bigger kids, and then we also do the mini ones for the toddlers so that they're safe. And we dress up the area in all sorts of bright colors for the kids to really experience it and have fun in there. We also do free balloons for all the kiddies and free face painting, so mom can catch a bit of a break while they've got get their faces painted. And then at the back of the hall, we are doing what I can call a bit of a digital experience. So we are in our final planning stages with that. We plan to launch that to the public at the end of January. But all I can say to the visitors is it will be something really, really special. So that's a little bit of Hall 8. In terms of the rest of the show, and you were talking about the dads, which I think will be able to help out the MamaMagic visitors there so that mom can spend more time at MamaMagic. So for the dads, we've got an adrenaline zone that's on the outside of the exhibition halls. And there they can do spinning and drifting. They can try out the 4x4 track. Rancho is the only place where you can go and do helicopter flips for under 300 Rand a ride. So wow. That's available. And then during the day, we've got the SANDF also doing their capability displays. So they are assembling Land Rovers, doing tactical drills, throwing bombs, fake bombs, obviously. But there's really a lot of high adrenaline stuff for dad to go and do.
That sounds amazing. That sounds really, really exciting. I think our visitors are going to have more than one day, which I am so excited that we are going to be offering 2-day passes as well from a ticketing option, because you just can't do it all in one day. There's just too much. But that's going to be really thrilling. I hope it's not going to be too distracting for dads, because we do need them to focus as well. We do need them to focus. But it's going to be a wonderful day out. I think, again, that's why we are co-locating at the Rancho, because it ticks so many boxes. It's an extension of what we're offering. A really special day out for the entire family, from pre-pregnancy all the way up to older children and adults as well. So it's something for the whole family, grandma, grandpa included. We're really excited about that. And so let's go to the basics now in terms of, I know one of the biggest challenges people have is struggling to find where to park. Because the good thing is that there is so much parking available. There is a lot of parking available. There really is. So what recommendations would you give to people? What is the best way to guide our moms on that one?
So we normally, far ahead of the show, we release some parking allocations on our Facebook pages, which obviously we will release specifically for your visitors as well. And the plan is that we allocate a special parking area for the moms that are far along in their pregnancy journey, or the ones who are pregnant and has a toddler with them as well. Okay. So basically, when people arrive at the venue, the parking attendants will be able to say, this is the zone for people that need parking closer to the venue so they don't have to walk so far. And obviously, we'll also provide ample directional signage. So it's easy enough when you are in the showgrounds to speak to the parking attendants, because there's a lot of them. And they are all in the morning briefed for exactly who needs to go where. Because
and this is over and above, your additional, all your rancho staff that are within the venue. So this is additional staff that are just in the parking areas.
That's correct, yeah. Okay. If you look at rancho in its totality, and I'm talking under correction because we haven't run the figures for a while, but if you look at the staff complement in rancho across us as a business, as an organizer, and you look at the contractors that work, the catering staff, the cleaning, the security, the parking management company, which is separate to the security, and all of the other medical, all of the contractors that are in place, you're probably looking close to 2,000 people that work at the show.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Again, just, we want to make it as comfortable as possible for both our visitors and our exhibitors. So from an exhibitor perspective, in terms of all of these facilities that we spoke about, from, parking, and are there special exhibitor lounges or any special facilities that they can prearrange, etc.?
So for the exhibitors, we normally try and isolate some parking areas behind the hall where they are situated. Okay. It is based on a first come, first serve basis, obviously because space is limited. And then for the rest of the visitors, we also create a dedicated parking area outside so that they are still close to the access points.
So the rest of the exhibitors. Okay,
that's
yes,
correct,
because sometimes we're not sure exactly how many staff people are going to have in their stands. So we might assume there is one, but it could be 3. Yeah. So we are wary of that and create spaces accordingly then,
that's
right?
Correct. So I know it sounds like we're repeating the same thing over and over in terms of creating dedicated parking areas. But it's important to note that the venue has got 20,000 parking bays exterior. So we can create a multitude of areas. And when we send out the exhibitor packs, there is a map showing them exactly which is the easiest access point specific to the hall that they will be exhibiting in. To assist the visitor or the exhibitors, because we know this sometimes is a challenge, we also do meal vouchers, so they can opt to purchase meal vouchers for their staff. It helps their staff to quickly go to a kiosk and cash it in. It's normally a cold drink with a meal.
Yes.
So we offer that for the exhibitors. And then our organizer office also stays open throughout the show. So if they've got any challenges, things that they need to get addressed, something additional that they need on their stand, we have the luxury that we've got an infrastructure contractor through GL Events that is based on site as well as a printing facility. So even if you rock up at the rancho and you've forgotten your graphic, you can literally walk to the printing facility, go order your graphic, get your graphic, and goes onto your stand.
Wow.
So it's, and the same with furniture. Nothing is brought from the outside of the site. Everything is contained within the site. So that makes it very easy to operate in the space and a little bit easier for exhibitors. And then we do offer for the exhibitors, depending on the packages that they will be taking, for them to be able to buy additional parking badges and additional exhibitor badges to their packages. Obviously, there's a limitation based on the size of the package, but so that they can make their arrangements instead of having their staff pay for parking tickets.
That makes so much of sense. And obviously there's also, it doesn't mean that when the visitors are gone, that all the security leave at the same time. There is security, cleaning, medics still on site until that last person leaves. And after that, of course, as well. So everything that is on your stand is safe. Everything, your staff packing up as well, right? I mean, we have security and people there to help as well. So I think, it's not a stranded venue once everybody leaves. It gives everybody a bit of breathing space to restock their stands and find their way back to their vehicles and to get home and get some rest before we start it all over again the next day.
So for the exhibitor's sake, what we do is after the show is closed, the security company will basically sweep the hall to make sure there's no visitors left in the show and no other exhibitors left. And then the facilities are locked down. 1 to 2 security personnel, depending on the size of the hall, they then stay within the facility. The others remain on the outside. So the entire site is under 24-hour security for the event purposes,
Okay.
in addition to the existing Expo Center security protocol that is that's there to safeguard the venue. And then for the visit or the exhibitors, we know it's obviously these days you don't really want to leave anywhere in the dark. Doesn't matter
Yes.
what area you're based in.
That's true.
So we put ample additional lighting in the parking areas. Obviously at our own expense, we make sure the parking areas are well lit.
Mm-hmm.
And in our discussions with JMPD, because they're a very integral part of the show, if you leave Expo Center during a RAND show at night, onto all of the major off-ramps to the highways, you will find JMPD cars stationed with their lights on to make sure that people leave the site safely, but they also get onto the highways safely.
Okay.
So we have that presence, most nights up to 14 police cars that are around the precinct, just giving that presence and visibility. And it's because of all of these steps and all the school fees that we've paid many years ago, putting these steps in place, that we really don't have incidents, because there is this big presence and it's safe, it's secure. I leave there late at night and with my 2-year-old. Of course. I've never had a problem.
Yeah. No, and like you're saying, no matter where you are, it's about being vigilant, and it's really nice and to know that you've really gone the extra mile, I think, not just as the RAND show, but as a venue for all the events that you host. I think that's really, really important. We have some really amazing venues across the country. And some of the things we're probably pointing out today, we've never done this before, but all our venues have very, very strict protocols. And we always want to ensure, no matter where we take you, no matter which venue we take you to, we need to make sure that all these protocols are in place. And obviously being at the RAND show is an additional benefit for us, not just because we're being at Johannesburg Expo Center, which is a great venue, and has a legacy and is accessible and central and has amazing parking and sufficient parking and great facilities, but it has the added benefit of having the RAND show there that already has a legacy audience. I think bringing MamaMagic there as well. MamaMagic has become a destination. It's 20 years old this year.
Wow.
Yeah, amazingly. And it's become a destination all over the country. We have visitors that not just come to us when we have our Johannesburg shows, and not just come to us from the surrounds of Johannesburg, but from the surrounding provinces as well. So Limpopo and Mpumalanga, the Free State, it's just everybody wants to come. It is a destination, and we're now just making it more exciting than ever. So it's a start. We're really excited. It's the start of our relationship with the RAND show, and we're really excited about it. We know it will just grow each year, and we'll enhance the offering for both exhibitors and visitors. And we're really excited that our exhibitors and all the businesses that have products and services that are related to both babies and families and lifestyle are joining us on this venture. So Adele, thank you so much. Any last minute comments or anything that we've left out that you want to share? I know we've covered a lot today.
So firstly, I'm thinking back to when I visited MamaMagic, and you're 100% right in saying the other provinces, because I don't think I've ever seen a family-orientated event with that amount of Hilux buckies from the Northwest loaded with diapers. So definitely there's MamaMagic has got a far-reaching crowd. And then just to add a little bit onto a point that you mentioned, I think people often underestimate how highly regulated our space is.
That is true.
When you come to one of these events and the doors are open, it means that we have jumped through 50 hoops to make sure that you are safe in terms of security, medically, cleaning, the catering licenses. And even up to the point where before a show, the fire chief comes and he walks through. And if there's any obstructions, the doors don't open.
Yes, our exhibitors are very wary of that. I think that one, if you've exhibited with us before, that the rush in the morning and the fire chief lurking around, not wanting to allow us open doors until all the aisles are cleared. So yes, I think people forget that as well. I think it's great to point that out.
Yeah. So I think all in all from our side, as I've said from the beginning, I'm extremely excited to have you and the MamaMagic brand on board. It's an amazing brand for us to partner with. And I'm sure we're going to see many of your visitors, and I'm sure many of our visitors are going to love seeing your exhibitors. So I'm really excited to see the end result come April next year, and I look forward to working with you and the team.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I'm so glad that our MamaMagic clients have got to meet you today. Adele has been instrumental, like I've said, in recreating the Rancho, in constantly recreating year on year. And I think she has a lot more in store for us. And we're both very like-minded people. We put our clients first and our visitors first, and we want to make sure that you have a fruitful experience, a rewarding experience when you attend our events. So we're really excited about this first one. We know it's going to be lasting many more years to come and just keep growing. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope we've answered everyone's questions. And of course, all that information is going to be on the MamaMagic website and the Rancho website. And you can visit Ticket Pro as well. There'll be links on all our social media, all our websites. Again, if you buy one ticket, whether it's a MamaMagic ticket or a Rancho ticket, it will give you access, our visitors access to both events. So it's really, really great value for our visitors that will be attending. And we're looking forward to welcoming everybody next year. That's the 17th to the 21st of April at the Johannesburg Expo Center.